on a luxurious evening filled with laughter and celebration. A young homeless boy named Liam shattered the perfect facade of a millionaire's anniversary dinner with an urgent warning, "Don't drink the wine." At first, disbelief rippled through the room, but when the wine was tested, the truth unraveled: a chilling plot by the millionaire's own wife to poison him for her personal gain. This shocking revelation exposed a sinister betrayal and sparked a chain of life-changing events. The boy's bravery not only saved a life, but also led to an unlikely bond between two strangers from vastly different worlds. What followed was a powerful story of redemption, resilience, and the true meaning of family. The night was perfect, or at least that's how it seemed. The chandelier sparkled above the lavish dining room, the long table adorned with fine china, and crystal glasses filled with rich red wine. George, a self-made millionaire, sat at the head of the table. His wife Helena smiled radiantly by his side. It was their anniversary dinner, and George couldn't have been more proud of the life he'd built. Outside, the city buzzed, but a young boy stood in the shadows near the mansion. His clothes were tattered, his face smeared with dirt, and his eyes betrayed a mixture of desperation and determination. This boy, who seemed out of place in the affluent neighborhood, was about to change everything. As George raised his glass to toast to another successful year of marriage, a loud bang came from the window. Startled, the guests turned to see the boy frantically knocking, his small hand pressed against the glass. "Don't drink it," he screamed, his voice muffled but urgent. "Don't drink the wine. It's poisoned." The room fell silent. Helena's face turned pale, her smile frozen. The butler quickly moved to shoo the boy away, but George held up his hand. "Let him in," he said, his voice calm but firm. The boy stumbled inside, his eyes darting around nervously. He pointed a trembling finger at Helena. "Your wife, she put something in your drink. I saw her. Please, you have to believe me." Helena let out a laugh, though it sounded hollow. "This is absurd. George, don't listen to him. He's just a street rat trying to cause trouble." But George noticed something in the boy's eyes, an unwavering sincerity. He turned to the butler. "Get the wine tested, now." The butler hesitated, but George's tone left no room for argument. The wine was taken away as the guests murmured among themselves. Helena tried to regain her composure, placing a hand on George's arm. "Darling, this is ridiculous. Can't we enjoy our evening without this nonsense?" George gently pulled his arm away. "If there's nothing to hide, then there's nothing to worry about." The boy stood silently, his fists clenched. George knelt down to his level. "What's your name?" he asked. "Liam," the boy replied. "I live near here. I wasn't trying to spy, I swear. But I saw her through the window, pouring something into your glass before everyone came in." Helena rolled her eyes. "Do you honestly believe this child over me, after everything we've been through?" Before George could respond, the butler returned, his face ashen. He whispered something into George's ear, and George's expression darkened. "The wine," the butler began, his voice shaking. "It contains traces of a toxic substance." Gasps filled the room. George turned to Helena, his eyes filled with betrayal. "Helena, is this true?" Helena's facade crumbled. She stood abruptly, knocking over her chair. "You don't understand. I had no choice," she cried. "No choice?" George's voice was cold. "You had no choice but to poison me." Helena's eyes darted to the door, as if planning her escape, but George blocked her path. "Start talking," he demanded. Through tears, Helena admitted everything. She had been siphoning money from George's accounts, funneling it into her own private ventures. When George began to notice discrepancies, she panicked. Fearing exposure and the loss of her luxurious lifestyle, she devised a plan to get rid of him. The guest looked on in shock as Helena's confession unraveled. George turned to Liam, who stood quietly, his small frame almost invisible in the opulent room. "You saved my life," George said, his voice heavy with gratitude. Liam shrugged. "I just didn't want anything bad to happen. You seemed like a nice guy." George's heart ached at the boy's humility. He crouched down again, placing a hand on Liam's shoulder. "Why were you outside tonight?" Liam hesitated before answering. "I don't have anywhere else to go. My parents, they're gone. I live on the streets." The weight of Liam's words hit George like a ton of bricks. Here was a child who had nothing, no home, no family, yet he risked everything to warn a stranger. After the police arrived to take Helena away, George invited Liam to sit with him. The guests had dispersed, leaving the two of them alone in the dining room. George poured Liam a glass of water and handed him a plate of food. "Eat," George said gently. "You've earned it." As Liam ate, George thought about the boy's bravery and his own near-death experience. He realized that his wealth had blinded him to the struggles of those less fortunate. In the weeks that followed, George took Liam under his wing. He provided him with a home, enrolled him in school, and ensured he had everything he needed to build a better life. But it wasn't just about giving Liam material things. George made sure to teach him the values of honesty, courage, and compassion. Liam, in turn, became a beacon of light in George's life. He reminded the millionaire of the importance of humility and gratitude. The two developed a bond that transcended their differences, proving that family isn't always about blood. It's about the people who stand by you in your darkest moments. Helena's betrayal was a painful chapter in George's life, but it also served as a turning point. It opened his eyes to what truly mattered, the connections we make, and the impact we have on others. Years later, George and Liam stood together at a charity event they had organized to help homeless children. As they looked out at the smiling faces of those they had helped, George felt a profound sense of fulfillment. "You changed my life that night," George said, placing a hand on Liam's shoulder. "And you changed mine," Liam replied with a smile. Their journey was a testament to the power of kindness, bravery, and second chances. From the moment Liam's small but courageous voice echoed in the grand dining room, the course of their lives changed forever. The betrayal, that once threatened to overshadow everything, gave way to a profound transformation. The millionaire, who had once believed that wealth shielded him from life's cruelties, discovered the true riches of empathy and human connection. Liam, who had spent years battling the harsh realities of the streets, found stability, warmth, and a future filled with promise. Together, they forged a bond that transcended their differences, a bond rooted in gratitude and mutual respect. While the scars of betrayal lingered, they served as reminders of their shared strength and the victories won through resilience. Their lives became intertwined in ways neither could have imagined, inspiring others to believe in the power of redemption. Liam's story spread far and wide, reminding everyone that sometimes the most extraordinary acts of courage come from the unlikeliest places. And in their newfound unity, both the man and the boy found not just healing, but a profound sense of purpose, proving that even in the darkest moments, the light of hope can shine through.